Okay, second violins. So there's quite a bit to mark in here. You guys are passing off the melody. You've had the melody in the previous section, passing it off to the first violins, but you still have a very important part here. Let's mark in some of these fingerings. Starting at 59, the second note, you're going to play with the fourth finger, that A. Then you've got high 3 for G sharp, and then do play a fourth finger again for the D, the last note. In measure 60, I would just put an arrow down over the first note C. You've been playing high 3 in the previous measure, and you just want to make sure you get all the way back down to a regular 3. In 61, you'll see it says non-div above that measure, which means non-divisi, so you're going to play a double stop. You're going to play open D at the same time as you're playing low 1 for that G sharp. Make sure you know that the G sharp lasts again through the whole measure, so both of those half note double stops will be with a low 1 and open D. Then in 63, you've got another G sharp, high 3. You can play the A that follows it as an open. 64, if you're on the inside, you've got high 3 for G sharp, and then do play the A with a fourth finger. And then the E on the and of 3, you can play with a 4, but then go ahead and do open for the last A, the last note of measure 64. 65, if you're on the outside, you might want to make a note that that D sharp lasts through the entire measure, so beat 3 is also going to be a high 3. And if you're on the inside, the F sharp lasts for the entire measure, so that half note is also going to be a sharp high 2. 66, play the first beat with a fourth finger. Then you've got A, G sharp, which you can do 1, low 1, that's fine, and then fourth finger A, high 3, and then you end on an E. As far as rhythms go, it's nothing that you haven't seen before, and also the bowings, I'll just point out in measure 64, it looks like the slur only applies to the top part, but it applies to the bottom part as well. It's all slurred together even if you're an inside player. I also made a little note that beat 3 of 65 is another up bow, so it's up, down, up. We're used to going down, up. Just a note for myself. As far as dynamics go, like I said, you guys don't have the melody, so you're going to make sure that you're underneath that. You start out mezzo forte. 62, you start to crescendo. You go all the way through forte to fortissimo in the middle of 64. This is the high point of the entire piece, so make sure you really bring that out and play as loud as possible. And then subito piano at 65. And then finally, the last 3 notes. If you want to put tenuto marks on them, that would be great. We're going to really draw out this ritardando at the end of this section, slow down a lot until we snap back into the a tempo at 67. That's pretty much all we need to note. I'm going to go ahead and play through this twice, once for the outside people and once for the inside people. 2 and go. Inside part, 1, 2, and go. That's it. This part is a little awkward, I'm not going to lie. I had to play it a couple of times because I kept playing wrong notes, and I might still have played a couple of wrong notes, but just, you know, start slow, speed it up gradually, and you'll be fine. Okay, that's it. I will see you back here tomorrow for the next part.